Not the Zoom account.
Hello guys, good morning. Okay, so let's wait for the next 4 minutes for others to join, then we can start. Share my screen. Sorry. Okay, so this is where we started from last week. We talked about So we talked about UI UX. We talked about who a UX designer is, who a UI designer is. I'm sure that for those that came to class yesterday, were able to do that. But for for the new people's sake, I'll still just go through it. So UI is just basically what we see on any platform, the visual element of any platform. So looking at your phone, you will notice that we have looking at your phone, what you interact with is what we call UI. What you can see when you're engaging with the product, how it operates, how it functions. That's just what UI is. While UX refers to the total experience that you would get when engaging with a particular product. Now, one thing you need to note again is that UI UX is not just for digital products. As a UI UX person, you can actually build an experience and interface for non-digital products. For instance, you can build for before we had a normal TV, now we have smart TV. You could build interfaces for all of those things. Talk about your cups, washing machine. All these things are all these things you can actually use your UI UX skills to build them. It does not necessarily need to be a mobile app or a website. Now, we went further to talk about who a UX designer is. A UX designer is just someone that is concerned with the overall feel of a product. So what your role is to build products that people would love that would actually solve their problems. Now, one of the ways you get to do that is conducting user research, because user research will help you to identify users' pain points and all of that. Then we now talked about the deliverables of a UX designer. Now, aside being a UX designer, there are different things we're expecting from you. And one of it is you'd always get to consult with your clients to understand their goals. Because before every project comes out, there's always a goal. So you have to understand with your clients. You have to always consult with them to understand their goals. You also ensure that you do research and be able to explain this research results to both internal and external stakeholders. You also get to develop user personas and user stories. And persona was one of the things we did yesterday. And also you conduct usability testing. So usability testing is showing what you've done so far and showing it to your users for them to see how it is. You get to create wireframes, storyboards, site maps, user flow, all of these things. We've not gotten to the point where we talk about them in depth. And you also get to do product prototype. Now, who is a UI designer? A UI designer is someone that designs or creates all the screens that you navigate with. So if you open any app on your phone, from when you log in, from the point of opening the app to when you leave, all of those screens you interact with is what a UI designer does. Is able to design all of the individual screens, and aside designing them, is also able to design how it functions. That's the prototype of it. What are the deliverables? You get to deliver both style guide. So that's where we'll now talk about the visual language, consistency, colors, fonts, and all of that. Then you also design the interactiveness. We've already talked about it. If I click here to here, if I click here, what happens? If I get to drag my screen, what happens? If I get to tap on a screen, what happens? So all of this interaction is what you're also concerned about. You also get to create animations, because sometimes you'd see there's some website you open, you see dogs running around. All of those things are animations that a UI designer normally do. And then you also ensure that all the layout. So one thing you would also do in the course of this job is, if you design, you've noticed that You can visit some website on your phone, and the way it appears on your phone and the way it appears when you're using a laptop, there are two different views. Now you are concerned with all of that. You get to design different screens. I would call it responsiveness. So if I design for mobile, so if I design for web, I would also ensure that I do screens for both mobile and tab. So any um any platform or any tool that you use to visit that website, it will still work and do the same thing. So we went further to talk about what a UI designer, you product designer is. And yesterday I said something about it, that a product designer is in charge of the product from start to finish, and you're also concerned with the business goal. So in essence, you're a full stack UX designer. So when you hear I'm a full in the development process, we have full stack developers, and the reason why we have full stack developers is because these full stack developers, they do both the front end and the back end. So as a product designer, you're a full stack designer. It's just the complete package. UI UX, you're not concerned with the business goal, but for product design, you're concerned about it. So what you do is you also help in identifying the initial problem. So that's what we've been doing. You get to identify initial problem. You get to set benchmarks to be able to address it. Then you design it, you test it, and you also iterate on it. So you're not just, somebody is not just coming to give you, what's it called? A brief, design this or not. No, as a UX person, you are involved or you're concerned in the initial problem from when you identify the problem to when you're able to solve it. So you are concerned, you look at the surface, the skeleton, structure, scope, and strategy. This is what makes you a UX, a full stack designer. You're concerned about all of it. When we talk about the surface, we're talking about the design. When we talk about this structure, we're talking about the information architecture, the user flow. Then when we talk about the interface and interactiveness, we're talking about the skeleton itself. Then for scope, we're talking about functionalities and content requirements. And for the strategy, we're talking about the user needs and then the project goals. You must note that, which can also be said to be the business goals. You cannot remove you cannot remove it. So that basically who a product designer is. So on the first day, we also talked about why you should become a product designer or what are the benefits. So one of the things I did is I asked so many persons, and if I still repeat that particular exercise, we'll notice that there are different reasons why some persons are here. Some persons are doing UI product design because they feel like it's simple, and some are doing it because they feel like it's and there's money in it. Some wants to improve in their skill, and some wants to just leave a particular job and focus on another thing. While all of these are actually very good, one of the things you need to know, or one thing that's going to motivate you, is that UI UX product design is actually a collaborative field. You would get to work with different people, so there's no restriction where you are. You work with different people. You can decide to work on your own. Anyhow you want to work on it, you can actually do it. And then it's a smart choice in terms of job security. AI cannot come and collect your job. You should not be scared of that. Then you could work in variety of industries as a product designer. You can work in you can decide to work in church, you can decide to work in mosques, you can just work in any industry that you like. And then there's future proof for it, because even if AI is coming out, the people that will design the interface for AI is you. AI cannot design for itself. So you'd still get, no matter how the world gets, no matter how technology will evolve, you would still be relevant. And then you're a problem solver, you get to solve problems always. And one thing you need to note is we would always have problem in the world. As far as we are still here, there would always be a new problem, or would even if there's no new problem, would get to see problems from what is already existing. Another thing, the skills that you need to have, communication skills. You need to always know how to communicate your ideas, your thought process to both your stakeholders and your team members. And you also have self-confidence. You need to have self-confidence, because sometimes somebody will tell you that your job is not fine, you will get criticism from different people. So if you don't trust yourself, I don't see why I should trust you that you can do it. So even when we're doing something and you're not understanding, or you can't even still replicate what is being done in class, you still need to be confident that yes, you can do it, because you're the only person that can do that for yourself. And also you need to always ask questions, right? In this our field, um well, questions are actually very important, because that's what will even get you or would help you to understand what you really need and how you can do it. You get to understand the problem behind the problem. So always ask questions. Then you should always also be expressive with your thoughts. Your thoughts can't stay in your head. You can't have big ideas and it's in your head. And you should also be able to explain what you do. Before, initially, I used to tell people that as a product designer, I can decide to move my login button from top to bottom. While we have standards, right? We have standards, but I can still decide to move my button. And then if I have a valid excuse for it, when I mean valid excuse, I'm able to convince my people that this is why this should be here. It can fly, unlike other profession. It can fly. That's it. Be expressive in your talk to be able to know how you're able to arrive at a particular conclusion, what it took you to get to that point, and all of that. So always be expressive with how you think. Um, sorry, sorry, okay. Okay, so always be expressive with your thought process, and that's basically the full introduction on UI, on product design, the difference between product design, UI, UX, and all of that. So we also went for that. So before I go further, is there any question like for is there any question that you'd want to ask, or we are clear? So I need somebody to respond.
Good morning, ma.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, okay. So I joined. I didn't really join very early, but I was able to get some things that you were saying. I just wanted to you to help point out something.
Okay.
The you probably must have said it, but I don't know if you can still help repeat the major difference between UI and UX, and
Okay.
how they actually relate to full stack. Is it the same thing?
Okay, so they're actually different. Now, as a UX designer, what your role is basically is just like the word user experience. Your role basically is to design experiences, is to design things that actually meet the emotions of people. So you're trying to design experiences for your users. Now, let's take an example, right? You know that when we go to banks, we don't really like the experience. One, you spend longer time because the experience is bad. Then sometimes you can also meet customer care reps that don't even, how will I put it, that don't have respect. Let's just be like that. So they talk to you anyhow and all of that. We can decide to start looking at different experiences, and you see that we have bad experiences, but that's not your role as a UX person. Your role as a UX person is to create these experiences that are good. So from when someone comes to your platform to when they leave, those things that you put in place for them to have a good time, for them to be happy. The goal is to make them happy. So for you to make another person happy, you have to be nice. You have to There are certain things you have to play with their emotions. So that's what basically you're doing as a UX person. Then when we talk about UI, as a UI person, what you're doing is you're designing interface. So let's take it. I don't want to use the word graphic design, because graphic design UI is more graphic designers, right? They have a specific, they have what they do. Like they have a I'm thinking of the word. But I think you get graphic designer, they are more of designing flyers and all of those things. But when we talk about UI, right, user interface, we are more of designing mobile apps and those things that users will interact with. So in graphic design, your users are not really interacting with your designs. What they are doing is they are interacting with your designs will make them interact with the business. So I have a flyer. My users are not coming to interact with the flyer. What they are coming to do is they will look at the flyer and maybe if they love it, what they can do is follow the business or follow the platform. So you can see it's different. But as a UI person now, you are designing, let's say your solution is currently, if you want to make your hair, you go to the salon, and if there are people are there, or you call your hairdresser and ask when will she be free. That's like booking an appointment with her, and then you go there, you make your hair, and you pay. Now that's the way. If you decide that okay, this is a problem for so many persons that are working and would want to they don't want to stick to one hairdresser, and you decide to build a platform where all hairdressers in Lagos will be listed. So as an individual, what I need to do is I need to come to the platform and I just need to search with my location. So I just say Yaba. Once I search Yaba, I then get to see the different hairdressers in Yaba. Then when I click on the particular hairdresser based on review, I now check the different hairstyles that she has done before. So I'll check for my hairstyles and pick one that I would want to do. So basically, if the hairstyle you want to do, she doesn't have it in a catalog, you can decide. You can also upload the type of hair you want to do. Once you upload it and she confirms that she can do it, the next thing is maybe for you to buy the materials that you would need. You click on if it's attachment, you click on attachment, you buy it, and also think about all the services, book all the services you would want. And then once you're done selecting all of that, you can now book. So as I book and maybe I can pay, it can be pay online, I pay online, then there's a time slot for me automatically. Now you see all of these. These are good experiences that I have called, right? They are experiences that I've listed, or how I want my users to interact with the site, how I want them to feel when they come to the site. They should be happy and all of that. But if there's nothing to back up these things that you've set in place, then you're not a UI designer. As a UI designer, with all of these things that I've said, you now have to visualize them. So it's beyond setting these experiences, beyond the total experience that they do get to see, the fact that they don't need to wait, all of these things. Now, those interface, those things. So let's use, I can see something on my screen, right? Let's use this delete account that you can see, the one with the red button. You know that if I want people to delete, right, I can either say, okay, for them to delete something on their platform, they should be able to see all the things they want to delete and how they'll get to see it where, so that it won't be hard for them. But if I don't have this interface now, this white box with the buttons and text, then I've not done the UI. So that's basically the difference between UI and UX. Then for UI and UX, different from full stack developers. For full stack developers, they code. You don't need to code. All you need to do is to design the interface and the experience. Developers are people that they code. They bring what you've done to life. So that's when once it's users can interact with it, they can test it. It's just like showing them the foundation, right? Let's say, for instance, you are an architect and you give someone the foundation, you draw the foundation and you give to the person. Now, the foundation is there. It can be very fine because they have models now that they use to build houses. You can see it online. You can be able to even view the different rooms using 3D, right? Once you do all of those things, you can't live in that house that they showed you. You can't live in the videos that they showed you. That those are just interfaces. You can't live in them. For that to come to life, you now need builders, people that will build the house real time, people that would from the builders, you now also need people that would furnish the house, interior decorators for the house to be complete. So that's the difference. For in building, UI UX developers are like the architect that draw the plan and every other thing. Then the developers are the ones, the builders are like the developers that bring what you have to life. So are we clear?
Thank you very much for the explanation. I just wanted to ask one more. Now, does it mean that the work of a product designer is not complete without the full stack developer?
Yes. So there's in the development process, it's your work is not complete. You can't do so that's why you never see a company without developers hire a UI person. So you need to have them for your work to be complete. Because at the end of the day, you want real users to use it. You can't send Figma link and say they should use it, just like banks. Now for Access Bank, they have their app. You can't upload or you can't put your UI design on Google Play Store or Apple Store. You can't put that. What you can put is the actual app. So it's not complete without the developers. But then as a product designer, yours is to make the plan better, make it show them what you already have. So you just show them what it would mean. You are giving them a plan to follow. So all you are doing is converting what you have to code. So without you, some developers can actually still solve the problem without you. Now that's when I started UI UX, I think I started in 2021. Was it in 2021 or 2020? Around COVID, right? That was when I started. When I started UI UX, it was very difficult telling people what I do. You know why? When I'm explaining that I design mobile apps and websites, once I just say I design mobile app and website, the kind of jobs I was getting that period from family, from friends and people I know, they were, I want to build this website, do it. So I would not I kept explaining to them that I am just a designer. My work is just to design. So there's a day that a man asked me one very annoying question. After explaining to him that my work is just to design, he kept on asking me, so after designing, can people use it? Can users use it? I said no. Users cannot use it. And then he made one funny statement. Then what is exactly your work? If you can't make it, if you can't design it and make it work, that users will start using it immediately. Why are you now collecting big money? And then it was that issue I was having, because some developers can still build the solution without needing you. But one thing you notice, if you see any job that a developer did without the help of a UI person, you see how scattered it will be, inconsistent buttons. You see so many things just like that, very scattered. So your goal is to give them. It's just like okay, let's say the developer, let me just use this example. Developer is blind and you are the assistant. So what you are doing is you're showing him the road. You're the one holding him to walk. He's walking with you, but you're the one holding him. If you stop holding him, he won't be able to walk. He might stop one place. So they need you just like you need them, but they need you first to save them some stress of trying to understand the problem, trying to do this. So before, that's why you see most startups fail. It's not like with UI designers, you would have startups that will fail. But before, people just go into the market without market validation. So one of the things you're also coming to do is to do market validation to be sure that users want your product. So once you're able to, once you're sure that users want your product, that's when you now start designing something they would interact with, and then you pass it over to the front end guy. So once you pass it over, to get clients would even be simple, because you've already done the thinking and you've also done the validation pass, and then you have something that you're giving to the developers to follow.
Thank you
So
very much. I'm
you're
grateful.
welcome. You're welcome. So is there any other question? Okay, so let's move further. So after talking about product design and all of that, we product designer is we now went further to okay, we now went further to talk about so let me open that part. UX laws. So we have different laws, right, that we use to guide ourselves as designers. So there's one topic we've not even covered, but when we get to UI itself, because all of the things we've been doing so far, we've been doing UX and no UI. So you can see the if you're looking at this, right, you'll be able to picture what the scenario, this is UI, it's just how fine. But when you look at the UX, it's bad. This is upside down and all of that. You'll be able to understand that UX is more like experience. You're trying to get experience it. So let me just move to, okay. So let's start from here. So we then talked about the design thinking process. So how do you solve problem? I've been talking about problems, right? I just talked about this hairdressing platform that just came to my mind, hairdressing platform that people, working class ladies, can be able to book based on their convenience to make their hair and without getting to call all of this, to call people. Now, one thing you need to note is you can't just wake up one morning and start solving a problem. No, it's not done that way. Some problems are very ambiguous, they are very big. And one of the things you need to do is to ensure that you break them down into into simpler forms. So to the simplest form, I think that's what atom is, right? You break it down to the simplest form so that you can solve it very well. So how do we do it? You can't just solve a problem without using a process. Just the way you in during your undergraduate level, right? For you to be able to solve for you to be able to complete your project, they give you a guideline, which is the project brief, where you have your chapter 1 to chapter 5. For each chapter, there's something you're doing with each chapter. For your chapter 1, you're just doing introduction, trying to understand the problem and all of that. Then from your chapter 2, you're looking at people that have already done it and their conclusion. So from your chapter 1, that's when you now start setting your goals, your objective, what you want to achieve with your own. Because for everything you want to embark on, right, you already have people that are doing it. Might not be in Nigeria. You might be the first. So let's say might not be in Nigeria, but people have done it outside and it's working. So your chapter 3 is that chapter that you use to now check your competitors, mostly called literature review, right? You check the previous work that have been done, the conclusion that was gotten from the previous work. That's what you do with your chapter 3. Then your chapter 3, your chapter 2, sorry. Then for your chapter 3, that's when you now come to your methodology, how you're now going to solve your own problem, what you're going to do different from what they've done, the kind of data you would use, whether qualitative or quantitative. You now start choosing all of that. Then from your chapter 4, you're now analyzing your data, right, that you got from the method that you use. Then chapter 5 is when you now give them conclusion, recommendation, and all of those things. So this is how our undergraduate project will always go. Now the truth is, for us to solve any problem here too, we have to follow a process which which is the design thinking process. Which is the design thinking process. So what are we using? We are using 5 steps to solve any complex problem. We're using a 5-step method to solve any complex problem and break it down. So this 5-step, it's called the emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. EDIPT. That's what it's called. What we do is, in other words, we're able to understand the user, find out what the problem is, come up with ideas to solve it, then build a solution, that do a design that they can use, then test the design if it's working. So this is what we are doing with this design thinking process. Now, for the empathizing phase, right, what we are doing at this point, just like our chapter 1 in project, is we're trying to understand the problem. Now, for you to understand the problem, you have to understand the humans that are facing this problem. So what you're doing in this stage is it's just you trying to put yourself in their shoes to understand how they feel and how you can help them. So it's just like saying, people are hungry in Nigeria. We have hunger everywhere. And you're rich, you have money. you really don't know how it feels like to be hungry because you have money. So if you want to solve problem for them, you might not even know how to solve their problem. There might be different things in your head to do, but by the time you try to understand them, know why they are hungry, know why they don't have food, probably you try not to eat for some days, or for some, just try not to eat for a day, and then you'd feel what they are actually feeling. So if you want to solve that problem, you want to solve it with urgency, and you want to solve it well because you felt what they felt as individuals. So that's it. For you to be able to solve something, you need to first of all understand it. You need to know why they are facing this problem, and then what they want to feel that is not what they are feeling currently. So that's basically what the empathizing phase is. Therefore, the defining phase is once you are able to now understand why they are hungry, or why they are hungry, maybe because they don't have lands to farm, or because their salary is low. People within that region, they earn 10K, and 10K can't do anything, even for these days, 10K can't even do something for a day, not to talk about using 10K for a week. So now you cannot define the problem to say, okay, from what I've gathered so far, the reason why these people are hungry is because they are low income earners. Can you see that from the first stage, we did not know we just knew that hunger was a problem, but we did not know what was causing the problem. We could only see hunger as a problem. Now, if we come to digital products, right, using this our hairdressing stuff, we already know that people going to salons and staying for longer period is a problem, and we don't really know why it's a problem, or why is it that most persons would prefer. Okay, let's use low cut, because most persons prefer to be on low cut. Most females these days, this is just like a it's just like an assumption, right? Not like that's the fact. But let's assume that most women prefer to be on low cut, and that's a problem because as ladies, you're supposed to make your hair. It's not compulsory, sha, but you're supposed to make your hair. You're supposed to look good. But then women are now going on low cut. They are following our guys. For us to be able to find out, we get to talk to women. And let's say we've spoken to several working class women, and they kept pushing us back to the fact that they don't have time and they don't want to waste the small one they have. So they want to come during their time, make their hair and go. So after talking to them, we have now come to a conclusion, or we now know the real problem, the real factor that is making them go on low cut is because they don't have time. So this is the point where we now define the problem based on what we've gathered from the first stage, and then we try to merge it together and come and find patterns, or just find what is repeating. So that's what you're doing with your research. So for those people that have actually done, that have sent out their surveys, that have gotten answers, you will notice that there's something that is repeating in the replies that you've gotten. So those things that are repeating, that is what you now take as the real issue. You take those repeating things and define them with the problem and say, this is it. Okay, using another example, most people say, okay, they don't know how to register in a particular app. You can just do your research to know why they don't know how to register. Maybe because there's something that is wrong in the registration flow, and then you solve it. So anything you are doing right, you should consider the people that you're trying to solve this problem for. Now, the goal is just to find out the problem that you sometimes you know, you already know the problem, but you still want to confirm, because in product design there's a word we don't assume. So when I said let's just assume that was something wrong, I've done the wrong thing. I cannot assume a problem. I need to be sure about the problem. So do not say I know that. That's what most startups they do. When you see them pitch, or when you see people pitch, you see I think I saw something. There's someone that built something. Okay, so I saw this post from one of my mentor, where she said something about this particular product doesn't have a product manager. That is why it went like this. So it's a platform where people buy donuts, burgers. So people buy burger on that platform. So just like Just like, is it Dialingo? Which app teach people English language that you can play games with it? Who can remember me the name? Like if you've come across it before.
Duolingo.
Yes. Okay, so just like it, right? When you use it to learn, you can unlock levels and then they can give you you can so once you're winning, once you're unlocking levels, they're like giving you thumbs up or you'll be winning coins. Those kind of things, right? So that's like what they were trying to replicate. So what they now finally did is they would now put the highest burger buying person on the platform. So they'll give you first, second, third. It's just like leaderboard. So where you get to see yourself if you're ranking high. You know the issue. They now included these people's name. So there's a particular guy, he's a Nigerian guy that buys burger from this company and he has spent 1.5 million naira on burger alone. I don't know the timeline that they use, if it's 2 months, 3 months, or a year. But his full name is there, and then the amount he has spent on buying burger. Imagine somebody spending 1.5 million naira just eating burger. Now, it might not be an issue. The product designer, they've done their work, they've done it. But let's think about the security. So that's why your job is complex. Think about security wise. Kidnappers will now start downloading that app. Now, it's not because they want to use the app, but they just want to see the person that is buying more. You just imagine explaining to kidnapper that you don't have money for ransom, but you bought burger for 1.5 million. Kidnapper will be telling you, I saw that you can buy burger for 1.5 million. That means you have my 10 million naira to give me for ransom.
Oh my God.
So you can see that, yeah, you can see that there are so many things that you also need to consider when you're trying to do something so that you don't go and as a product designer, right, I've assumed that my users would want something like that leaderboard based on some people just like to be seen. Some people just like to feel like they are doing good, they are doing well. So for some people, you just get to see it and say, oh, I like this because I want to feel like I'm making money or I'm improving. But if I now use that because of one person, I now assume that that feature is right and I'm going to do it. And all my what's it called? All my clients or so all my users, they are kidnapping them. They would come and blame you because you did not ask. If you ask so many other persons, I'm very sure that if I decide to ask, we are 27 here. If I decide to ask all of us on this call, if you would like people to put how much you've spent on data on a list, just say there's a website where you just go and see people that are spending more money on okay, let me not use data because data is something that is it's compulsory that you have data in this our current in this Nigeria so that you learn new things online and all of that. But let's just say food, just like Jumia now, they now have a platform or for people that you now start seeing yourself. I'm very sure that most persons, how many persons will like that idea that they will put your name and the amount that you've used on a particular thing and then your position. Do you like that kind of thing? When it's not secondary school results, like it's not results, it's just your own life. Some persons will not like it. So you don't get to assume that people will like a particular thing because it gets to your head. That's why you now need to do your research so that you can validate if it's needed and then go about it to do it. Yeah, it's a very big security risk. So that's it for the define stage. And then the ideation stage. The ideation stage is where you come up with ideas. It's just like thinking out the solution. You've thought of a problem, or you've identified the problem, you validated the problem to know the root cause, and then you're coming up with different ideas to say, okay, how do we now improve this? How do we solve this? So you're coming up with it. So the first idea, the hairdressing, we've discovered that most persons are going to cut their hair because there's no just cutting their hair. Then the second stage, we now discover that it was time that is making them cut their hair. Third stage, what are we now doing? What are we doing? Okay, we are coming up with an app that people can order. Now, I'm thinking the app, I've already shared the whole experience I want. So that is where you do that. You now start thinking of different solutions. So you can decide it's okay. The first one, we'll get to list all hairdressers on the app. Maybe then we'll now get to have people that would verify. To have verified hairdresser on the app, would have this, would have this. That period where you're putting this, that, bringing out plenty things is what we call the ideation phase, where you need to note that there's nothing bad, there's no bad idea. So if I say I want to, so let's say for instance, this particular idea of putting that up, you can decide to write it there. Put even if it's stupid, put it. But the good thing is you now have to choose best ideas and the best idea. And one of the things we did was we had to use fig jam. So we'll go through that process again. So different ideas, working with the team, you're inspired, you're writing different ideas, your team members are voting, and so okay, this is the idea that we would now want to go on with. So that's it. So before I'll just get us to move to let's just do addition for like 10 minutes, and then we'll come back to now talk about prototype and test. So yesterday I walked us through Figma. We'll still get back to it, but then you'll be wondering what this FigJam board is. We have design file. This is Figma itself, and then we have FigJam. So once I click on FigJam, I'll get to see a different interface separate from what I've seen so far. Guys, please, 2 minutes. Let me check something. All right. So sorry guys. Sorry for that. I'm back. So this is FigJam board, right? You use FigJam to do a lot of things. When you talk about whiteboard, it's like the whiteboard that we use to ideate. We also use it to do so that user persona that we did yesterday. We can also do it on FigJam. So walking us through the whole process of FigJam, just the way you have Figma, right? You will always have your menu bar. So anywhere you see Figma icon, just know that it's your menu bar, that you have your file, your edit, view, and so on. Then you can change the dark mode and light mode. Then you can also create new files from here. So you can see things that you can do. You can have a meeting here. You can brainstorm. So the brainstorming section is what we do mostly in our ideation phase. We have diagrams. You can also plan. So you can plan your whole process here on FigJam. You can see you have different templates, and you can start with a blank whiteboard. So this is a blank whiteboard. So another thing you can do here is there's always a timer. You can set time that
Can
you
I
want.
interrupt?
Hello.
Sorry, I wanted to find out how you got to this fig jam page. Is it like
Okay.
a new?
No. So once you open Figma, let's go back. Once you open Figma, you know that your Figma would always show like this once you sign up, and then you can
Okay.
see a plus button. After the design file, there's another one, which is plus FigJam.
Oh,
So just once you
okay.
click on it, it will take you to that FigJam board.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's get there. If you're not there, please let's just get there. I want us to do it together. So have we gotten there? The people that are trying to get there.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to. All right, so I need to get 3, 4, 5 yeses and then we'll move. For people that have not done it before, okay, yeah, I know that some persons that did it last time, they still. Okay, so if you've gotten here, just do a thumbs up so that we move. Okay, so I'll just take this as we've gotten there. Yeah, thank you guys. All right, so you can, like I said, you can set timers. You can add music while you're trying to work with different people, and then so many things you can do. You can play me songs, select the kind of songs you want. Today is Friday, so we can decide to put this Friday and while we are working. So it's just like incorporating play and work at the same time. You can also generate ideas yourself using I think this is the new feature using AI. So you can do weekly sync. If you're working in a team, you would always want to interact with so many persons. Now, these are tools that will make it better. You don't need to have your team members' WhatsApp number to be able to work with them. You can do everything online and everybody is seeing it real time. So we also have the templates where you can choose different templates that you want. If it's meeting you want to do, like I said, if you're a designer, you have templates that you can use. Let's say, for instance, I click on designer, you would see different templates, brainstorm templates, user persona. Can you see user persona templates? Sprint planning, problem statement templates, website wireframe, see different templates, prototyping example, different templates. As a developer, you can also see different templates that you can use. Then you can also, as a UX researcher, you can see customer journey map, empathy map. This is what we wanted to do today. You have all of these templates that you can use, but it's not advisable that you use Figma templates because people would know that this is what you're doing. So I just normally like sticking to whiteboard and doing some other things. So you can also add comments just like Figma. And then aside that, you can rename your work here, and you can share to people to join you. So this is how you now share to people. So just the way you send out an invitation, yeah. So you said just the way they sent you email or to join, or links to join WhatsApp group. That's right, how we can send you links to join this. So you can either copy the link and share, or you can start adding people's email address if you want. So that's it. But once you notice that from our Figma, like on Figma, we had a menu bar and then we had our toolbar up. But for this, our toolbar is below, or is at the bottom of the screen. So what do we have? You have these are select tool just like Figma. The same thing it does on Figma. That's the same thing it will do here. Then we have our hand tool. We have our marker. You can use your marker to draw anything. You can select different colors and then you can erase it. You can select eraser from it. You have marker. You also have highlighter. So you can be reading something and you see, okay, I want to highlight this part. You can highlight it. You can change the color of your highlighter. Anything you want to do. You can see that you can mix two colors together and get a different color. Just see it and all of that. And then this is your eraser. So once you carry your hand, once you take your mouse to either of the two, you get to see the name of the two. You can also make it small, you can make it medium, big, and all of that. So that's it for this. So next up is you have the sticky notes. So remember the way you saw sticky notes on board. You can have different sticky notes and use it to type your ideas or the ideas you have from the problem and all of that. Then you have your shape tool, where you can have your circles, your rectangles, your triangles, your lines, your connectors, and all and so on. Your eclipse, your anything you want to think of, and then you have your text tool where you can type, and you have your section just where you have on Figma to use to divide your screens, and also you have your table, so you can do a table on Figma. You can draw a table charts and so on. You can draw a table chart, and then you also have opportunity to include stamps, different stamps. You can have a love stamp, any kind of stamp that you want, right? You can see it there from the list. And you have your template section too, where you can go to get different templates. So we'll just use something to illustrate this. So now for those joining us for the first time, right? I want us to use the next 5 to 10 minutes. So I want us to discuss about problems that problems that you've seen within that you want to solve. So people that have done it before, please, there's no need to do it. But if you know that you're new and you would want to talk about a particular problem so that we can use it for this exercise. So any problem you've experienced around that you feel that there's a need to solve, or for us to even know if it's a real problem. So let's just talk about it. So anybody can unmute at this point to tell us.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah,
if I
good
get your
morning.
correctly, any problem at right?
Yes, any problem at all.
Okay, so I can suggest one if you don't mind. Can we use one of like maybe medicines, buying medicine, purchase of drugs?
Okay, so that's actually something nice. All right, so I'll just put it here. Let's say purchasing of drugs. So I have this, let me just increase the size so that we can see it well. And see, this is how you increase the size. Let's go back. So once you pick up your text too, and let's say you type, I'm typing purchasing of drugs. This is one thing. So purchasing of drugs, you can come where you have large or small, anything you have there. You can just increase the size using each of these version, large, extra large, huge, or you can just decide to put the number. Let's say I want this font size to be 36. I just put it there, 36, and that's it. So I can change the color here by coming to this color palette and just select any color that I like. And that's it. I can bolden it, make it bold. I can add a stripe through to it, or I can convert this to a link. You can also add bullet lists. So you can see the difference between Figma and FigJam. Some of the things are on its own. So now let's assume that this is a problem. So from the steps that I've already taught in class, what do you think is the first thing we'll do? Anybody?
To reach out and get to understand from the people that are selling drugs, talk to them and ask them why it's hard for people to purchase drugs. So we had the first time experience, then we just talk to a sample of people.
Okay, so that's okay, Bada.
Yeah, the first thing is
Okay, sorry, let Bada talk and you'd ask your question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
according to the way you taught us, the first thing is it's going to be a questionnaire or survey at first. Just wanted to know, setting up our questions. After setting up the questions, then we go on with the survey and let people fill for us. I think that should be the first point.
Yeah. Okay, so Rita, I think you can ask your question.
Okay, we just said purchasing of drugs. What is the issue with purchasing of drugs? They're not
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we want to find out. So before we now start segmenting our customers, right, we need to confirm from people. So this is how I do it personally. Say, let me just assume that we are using just one form of research, which is interview. Now, for people on this call, is there anybody that that have been sick and tried to get drugs, maybe in the middle of the night? Maybe you just walk us through your experience. Or okay, let's just assume, because this is the purpose of a class, let's just assume that we want to understand the whole we want to understand it and come up with a problem statement. So let's assume that so one person should do this for me. I don't know. Anybody just try to interview somebody, one volunteer, one interviewer, and interviewee. So just try to think of any question, right? You don't need to have the questions. You don't need to have the best question, but just think of questions that you ask somebody to know the problem that this person encounter when purchasing drugs. You can start with asking him how he normally purchase drugs, what he doesn't like when he's purchasing drugs, all of those kind of questions, so that we'll get to break this. This is complex. It can be purchasing of drugs because you don't have money, which the solution can be a buy now and pay later. It can be purchasing of drugs because you're new to a location and you don't know pharmacy around. And this, yes, you can also know purchasing of drug maybe because of the kind of sickness, and you must need a doctor's recommendation before you can buy it. So there can be different reasons um why this is an issue. So I just want somebody, 2%, one person will do one person will try to find out the problem, then the other person will try to answer. You don't need to be sincere, because let's just assume that you've never had any experience, but you just want to help us. So anybody?
I can volunteer to be interviewer.
Okay, nice.
Okay, I volunteer to be interviewed.
Okay,
great.
okay.
So can we start?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, before you start, right, let me time you guys. It's 3 minutes, okay? Or let me make it 4. All right, so let's start. 4 minutes. Let's start.
Okay, hello, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
You're welcome. Hope your day is going fine.
Yeah, we thank God.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you a few questions just to understand your mindset so we can pick it up from there. Firstly, the issue now is purchasing of drugs. Can you tell me the type of medications you typically buy? Are they for treating illnesses like, hypertension, or just supplements?
Not really that serious ailment, but I've been diagnosed with ulcer, so I buy ulcer drugs, and it's not chronic one. So most of the time, I go out. Most of the time when I have attacks or I start having chest burn in high time, so I just feel like maybe I need to take drugs, but I don't take the drugs always. I take it once in a while. It's only when I feel like maybe I've eaten something pepperish or I've been in a place, anything that can just trigger it. I don't know. So for getting my drugs, sometimes is tedious. It depends on the nature of my work. It makes me go around, and to get it sometimes when I have sudden attack, I have to eat in a place that I've not been to sometimes, and the food is pepperish and it triggers my ulcer. So it's not always easy. I have to ask around and go about if I can get the drug to suppress the pain. So this problem comes around once in a while.
Okay. So based off this, your explanation, what would you prefer? Since it's once in a while, do you want to buy the medicines and keep it at home? And then there's the risk of it expiring. Or like you said, it's once in a while. Whenever you have the issue, the attack, would you like to have a pharmacy that you can easily just order online and they'll quickly deliver to you? Is that a preference of yours?
Yeah, I'll be very, very happy if I can have a one button click away from, getting access to my medical supplies and reaching somebody in terms of, desperate need. So if there's something like that, I'll be very, very happy to explore it myself.
Okay, that's great. So let's assume that exists and we're offering that service to you, would you be willing to pay a delivery fee of 1.5 to any location in Lagos?
Wow, that's a nice choice. This 1.5 to any location in Lagos.
Yes.
But I'll probably know about when I'm not in Lagos. I'm not always in Lagos all the time.
Okay. So
does the service cover that?
Yes, the service covers out of Lagos and it's still on demand, meaning you can, at the click of a button, get the medication to you. But the delivery charge might vary outside Lagos. So you'll be paying 2,000 naira instead. Is that a service you're still willing to go on with?
if I'm able to pay 2,000 for any location in Nigeria outside of
Yes.
Lagos, then it's okay by me. I'll be willing to explore it.
Okay, so that's great.
All right, thank
I
you.
think I've run out of questions. I've exhausted my question quota.
Okay. So you guys tried. At least you have 1 more minute. No, 50 seconds. Okay, so Jenny, what were you able to derive from what you did? What do you think the problem is? So let's
The
just
problem,
assume.
okay, so from what I was able to garner, the problem is he doesn't want to have medicines around him all the time. But there are times he needs it very urgently and he wants to be able to access it quickly. So he wants to be able to pick up his phone, order, and have it come to him immediately. He will use it and move on.
Okay. So if we were to create a problem statement from this, what would you craft? Just think, since you're the one that did it to help us, so just craft a problem statement for us now.
Okay, so the problem statement here, I think, should be lack of access. Is that how I will start? I'll say to solve.
Oh, sorry, my time. Okay. So just type it on the chat, right? Type on the
Okay.
chat and I'll just yeah. Okay, so while you're still saying, okay, I think you've dropped it. Lack of access to quick and this medication delivered on demand. All right. So we can also say this is our problem statement. A lot of people have trouble buying medicine because it can be hard to find. It is expensive, or sometimes not even safe. Another thing we can add based on what you said is because it's slow. Yeah, so where do you think we can infuse it? So this is really just trying, from everything you guys said, this is what I was able to get. Sometimes comes late. Where should I put it? Hard to find,
I think it's
delay,
already there because at the end, the last statement she puts buying medicine easier.
cheaper.
There was a
and-
faster
Okay.
before or quicker.
Yeah, quicker. Let me just include it here. Okay, so let's say these are problem statements. Find it difficult to we've come with our problem statements, for instance. So now the next thing is, so you can see that we've done let me pick up these things. We've done this one, which is identification of the problem. Of the problem. What have we done again? We've defined the problem, right? Aside identifying it, we've defined it.
Yes.
So the next thing we now need to do now is to ideate. Push this up. We define the problem. We now need to ideate. We now need to ideate / brainstorm on the problem. So we can remove this because we now have something that is valid for us. So this is it. So now let's try to now ideate on this problem. We already know that the problem is people are finding it difficult to buy medicine because it can be hard to find, expensive, sometimes not even safe, and all of that. So now we need to create idea. So we need to figure out, this is what we'll do. We need to figure out how to make buy medicine easier. So we'll start with the easier before we now come to quicker, cheaper, and maybe safer. So for easier, how do you think people can buy? So first off, so for people that have not done it, I want to change this to can edit. Let's copy link and I'll post it on the chat. So if you're currently using your laptop in class, you can join me on this board. So you can come here on this board and let's just edit together. So what you need to do is just pick up a sticky notes. And once you join, pick up a sticky note and type your idea and we'll get to do it. So I think I need like 5 persons to join me on this board. So we are trying to get an idea for easier. So I think first off, let me get what's it called? A section. And so this is a section. And what we are trying to do on this section is figure out how to make buying of medicine easier. Figure out how to make medicine buying easier. So this is what we want to figure out here. So you can now pick up your sticky notes and just type. So to make it easier, we can decide to build an app where people can buy drugs. So this is my own idea. Join me, guys. I can see Elizabeth here and I can see Mary. So just come down or pick a sticky note and just type in any idea that you have. So pick up a sticky notes and just write down. Okay, yeah, I can see that Elizabeth has. Okay. So Elizabeth, collaborate with a dispatch agency for fast delivery of drugs. Okay. So let's assume that we are doing all together at once. Okay, so let's assume that this is we can't do all at the same time, right? Let's just assume that we've taken this one. So there's a solution from Boma, then we have from Elizabeth, and then we have from Mary. All of these are ideas that we would want to work on. So the next thing I can do is remember that this is ideation and you're not doing it alone. You can be doing it with different people, your teammates, and you guys are brainstorming on it. So another thing I can do is I can decide to now set a pool, a voting section for everybody. Israel, do you want to write anything? If you want, please come and do that quickly so that we can continue. Israel, do you want to write anything? No, not yet. On our brainstorming section. Okay, so let's just move on, right? So next thing I'm going to do is I can just set a voting section here. So for me to set a voting section, I need to come to this our widgets part, and then I just click on it. Once I click on it, I'll come to widgets. So once I come to widgets, I can just type voting. Okay, so oh, this must be network. Let me try to switch. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So remember where to come. Come here and then just search for voting section. This is my network. Let's be all right, change my network. So you can see that you can see different voting section. So I can just decide to, I'll just take this one, the one by Teket and Kidanu. So I'll just open this voting by Kidanu. So look at it here, is below here, it's here. So all I need to do is I need to just set it up. So I'll just click on set up voting section. So once I click on set up voting section, I can put the topic. What's our topic? Getting drugs or buying drugs. That's what we are deliberating on. So where are we voting on? I'll just put vote on selected objects. And then how many vote per person? I'll make it 1 vote per person so that it won't be chaotic. And then how long do we have to do this voting section? You can try to choose time, say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, anyone. So for me, I'll just leave it at 5 minutes. And then I can say start voting. But if I click on start voting, right, it won't work because I've not selected where I want us to vote. So I'll just take my mouse and highlight this 3 and I'll say start voting section. So once I do it, it's going to open a new tab for me. It's going to open a new section with our items, with all the items I selected. So now you guys can come here and you can vote. So let's say from all of this idea, I prefer Elizabeth's idea. I'll just vote on Elizabeth's idea. So the Mary and Elizabeth, just come and vote on anything. So just vote on anything and please let's do it fast. So I can't vote another one. I can't vote again because I've already done it. So just vote on any idea from these 3 that you like. So you just need to use the up and down button to vote. You can come and vote on any idea you like. Okay, so I know that one person has voted. Juan has voted. Elizabeth and Mary, we are waiting for you. Just click on any idea that you like. Yes, click on that, Mary. Okay, Mary has voted. And so Elizabeth, just vote on anyone. Elizabeth, I can see your mouse, but you're not clicking on anything.
Sorry, I'm clicking on it, but I can't see to vote. I don't know why.
Is this, what's it called? Okay, so you know what? Click on my name. This is my name, Boma. At this part of the screen, you see names of people. So just click on Boma and it will take you to where the voting is. Have you seen it? You're where the voting is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't click it. I'm unable to click it.
Okay, see, so you see this arrow button up and down. Just click on any of them.
I'm currently clicking it, but it's not.
So I don't know why. I don't know why. I can't tell why. So you can't click on anyone.
No.
Maybe you need to refresh and come back. Maybe it's network. Because every other person can click. So let me assume that I remove mine from me. I don't want to vote on this again. Okay, and I'll come here and I vote on I just want to show us, and I vote on Mary's idea. So if I say end the voting section now, for instance, once I click on end, it's going to show me, are you sure you want to end? Once I click on OK, I'll get to see the results. Can you see that Mary's, what's it called? Mary's idea won because 2 persons voted on it. So we can decide to now say, okay, we want to run with this particular idea. So then while mine is the second and this is the third because there was no votes on it. So are we clear? Any question on Fig Jam before we move? Any question, guys? Is there any question so that we'll move?
None from you.
Okay. So I just need to assume that we understand. So this is how we come from identifying the problem. So this is, let me use what's it called? Good emoji. Okay. So we've done this. We've done this. We've done this. So okay. So that's it for it, right? Next off, we've done that. The next thing is for us to now prototype. So, but we can't do any prototyping now because we've not gotten to that point. So this is the time where you now take the ideas, some of the ideas that you've done, and prepare the dummy version of it. So let's say Elizabeth's idea, let's go back to that. But if you check well, the one I put there is something we can prototype. Let's see if we can we collaborate with a dispatch agency. So from Elizabeth's idea now is we have to build maybe a dispatch app where I can go and say, okay, I need this particular drug, and I'll say a dispatch rider, and then I can send the dispatch rider on an errand and say, go to so pharmacy and get me the drugs. That's one. So it will be like a dispatch riders will just need to come on the app. So once they come on the app, I cannot send them on an errand. So you just like send me app. So you go, you search within the location. Let's say if the drug is at Lagos Teaching Hospital, you search Lagos Teaching Hospital, then it shows you the drivers that are around there, and then you can just click on a particular driver, then you chat with the driver or anyhow you want to do it, or you click on send on errand. Then once you click on it, you now see, okay, I want to get this particular drug at Yaba, at so place. This is the prescription. This is, send him the picture and say, get it for me. Then he calls his price and you pay, and that's it. That's one way. Another way is maybe build an app where the drugs are already listed, and all you need to do is to search for the drugs, put in the quantity, and move it. So remember that because of our vote, what we did in our voting section, Elizabeth, okay, engage with medical personnel to confirm health before sending our drugs. So for this one, we can decide to now build an app where people can see the doctor. So I just need to click on a particular doctor and tell the doctor that this is what I am facing. What kind of drugs can you recommend? So this is what we are going with, right? For instance, and we need to now build a prototype showing how this is going to look. We can now first of all sketch it and all of that. So once we are done, we can now test. Now send it to test. Remember, design, test, repeat. So this is what you do. Not send it to tests.
You don't talk about safe.
I not talk about what?
The safety aspect, verification.
Oh, okay. So all of those things will now be in what's it called? In the, remember that you're choosing the best idea. You're choosing the best idea. So all of these things are now in the UX. You now get to make this is what will make the product better, all of that. So verification, right? So for you to list any medical persona, they will need to sign up, and then maybe, so for instance, as a doctor, for you to sign up on our app, or usually we'll do the sign up process to be something that we can verify. For you to sign up, once you put your name, your password, your email address, and all of that, you should be able to upload your medical certificate on the platform so that we can confirm that you're a medical doctor and not just a doctor. You know, some people used to answer doctor on Facebook. You just see Dr. T, Dr. this. So for us to confirm that you're truly a medical persona, would not get to would not get to verify your certificate. So once you verify your certificate, you can go on.
Another suggestion to that, and I think a column can be involved in the app section for the safety for verification of drugs, especially listed drugs on the app. So you know that okay, any drug that you are seeing on our app is verified strictly from NAFDAC, and it has been tested and confirmed, because we have a lot of fake drugs out there nowadays, and so once people can have a verification source to know, there's something they did some times ago by the Nigerian government where it can scratch code at the back of a drug and check out the code if the drug is actually authentic and has been verified by NAFDAC. So something like replicating it in a digital form, okay, you're using this app, anything that you're getting from there is strictly verified. And if there's a problem, they will be able to hold the company responsible. So that level of assurance we can be included. That's one of the options for safety.
Yeah, so we can put QR code. We can put maybe QR code on each of our drugs that is listed. Our drug will have a unique verification number. So for you to confirm it, right, you can just click on maybe a button to say confirm drugs, and then you now copy that number that is listed. Every drug will have a unique number, right? So you now copy that number. Once you copy the number, it will take you to maybe the NAFDAC site or any site to show that if the number shows and says successful, like you see a tick, this number is on our system, then you know that the drug is verified. But if you can't see the number, or you put the number and say, so we can't find this number, you know that the drug is fake. So that's how we can do it. We can design that particular feature. So with a button, you can just say verified drug, put in, there will be what's it called? Like an input field. You type in the number. Then the second way is maybe a scanner, a QR code scanner, where you can scan the drugs to confirm if it's okay. So all of these things are things that you put in your ideation phase. You know, the ideation is not just ideating that we have to build an app. You ideate so many things. You ideate how it's going to work, so that remember that what we are selling, from what we have here, from our problem statement, we are selling, we need to figure out how to buy drugs easier, quicker, cheaper, and safer for everyone. So we've done the easier, which is build an app, collaborate with dispatch agency, engage medical professional. Cheaper, which is we might want to decide to get drugs from let's say from the warehouses, the manufacturers themselves, or we get directly, because if you get from people that are retailing, it will be costlier. And then maybe you might have to put coupons to help people. Then safer, which is the verification, the verification that we are doing that you just suggested. So all of these things, you are figuring it out during this stage. So once you are done, you can now start designing the prototype. And once you are done with the prototype, you can now test. That's put it out. I cannot give it to Mary. Is it Mary? Jenny. Yeah, I cannot give it back to Jenny. Let's say Jenny is done designing it. Jen E, she's done designing it. She will now give it to Kolawole, and say, Kolawole, okay, from what I interviewed you, this is what I was able to come up with. Does this solve your problem once you interact with it? If it does, then we've solved your problem. All we now need to do is, you remember that we don't just solve your problem and end it there. All we now need to do is to ensure that we are improving on the app almost every time. So we'll just be improving on it till we get the best form of it. So that's what we did last week. And next thing, we now move to what is it called? Okay, I'm coming. Let me. I think I've passed it though. Well, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, when I talked about the UX laws, right? We talk about just few laws here. So we talked about the first law, which is the X law. So what this law is saying is when you're designing, try to ensure that the option you give to people is short so that they don't get confused. So let's say you want to do like a sign-up form. You should shorten the process for people. You should just say, if you need to create an account, these days for banks or any of these platforms, you can just create an account with your username and password. It's when you register that you can now start putting different things. So now just look at this form. If you're a human, if I give you this form to fill it, you will just be confused because we have different options. You have Twitter handle, you have design skill level, you have apps that you use, and then there's another tab for email, there's another tab for Facebook, there's another tab for phone. All of these things are too long and it will make people not to register. So you just need to minimize it. You don't need to cram it. All you need to do is just know that you will just put it in your head that when you're trying to design a platform, right? You should minimize the choices you get to give people before they are confused. Then the next one is don't be too original. So this law is saying that for those of you that want to start, those of you that start now and you start creating something new, this law is telling you that people use other people's sites always. So they're expecting yours to do the same, to work the same way. So for people that, let's say for instance, your idea is around e-commerce. You know that Jumia is popular, Konga is popular, Gigi is popular, and all of these e-commerce platforms, they work the same way. All you need to do is to be creative about, do something or do something better than what they have, but don't be original. Don't come and say I want to be original. So you now start using, we already know how they display goods. It's rectangle. You see the picture, you see the name, the price, and you now say you want to use a triangle. It doesn't work that way. So don't be too original. All you need to do is to be creative. Look for other existing platform and just be creative about it and create something from it. So and that's what this particular law is saying. The next one is our fingers are like, we use our thumbs to mostly click things. So your button should be able to accommodate the thumbs. So that's this law. We now talked about the goal gradient law. For this law, it states that the more I think that I'm completing a task, the faster I will be to complete it. So that's where you see people put progress bar, where you see 10% done, 50% done, 100% done. That's just to motivate your clients. And then we have the instant access, which is people should not wait for long for your system to respond. We understand that network issue will be there, but you can do what is it called? Let me show you something. Uh, the okay, so just look at this platform, right? Once you open it, while it's loading, let me just say, let me log out. While it's loading, can you see this dog moving? Now, the reason why that dog is moving is because we want people to be entertained while they are waiting. So you can use things like skeleton screens like this to show them that, yes, I'm with you, it's loading and it will soon be done. So that's what that law is all about. And then the Miller's law that talks about reducing complexity. So what this law means is that you should not overload people. Make every complex thing to be simple. They should start from smaller tasks before they get to bigger tasks. And then we have the Oscam razor law that states that simple is the best. Anything you're doing, let it just be simple. So what you need to ask yourself at any point is this necessary? If I remove this, is this going to affect the system? If it's not affecting it, then you can take it off. So this is how you can make complex thing. This is important. Yes, this is important. Yes, is this important? No. Is this important? No. Is this important? No. Then let's not have it. So what that law states that only puts things that are very important. And then we have the aesthetic law. Aesthetic law states that for products that are fine, it is easier to attract more customers. So people feel like anything that is fine, that's what they'll use. So yesterday, while we're doing the user persona, I was talking about colors. You don't need to use plenty colors. I was talking about alignment because all these things matter. For some people, you see that you get to design like this, which is you think you're designing well, but while this is also solving their issue, right? It's not fine and it's not easy. So people would prefer this to this at any point in time. So always ensure that while you're also learning UX, ensure that you learn UI and your designs are also fine. And basically, that's it for me. And then we now move to research itself. So you know that for us to be able to empathize with our users well, we need to conduct research. And for us to conduct research, we need to know what is research, the purpose of research, and the type of research. Sorry. We now get to look types of research and which one you use part time and probably questions that you also ask. So what is user research? It's just the way we use to find out our users. I think you must have heard this 200 times in this class. Just today, you've heard research, empathy, you've heard all of these things. So it's just the way that we use to investigate our users. That's what research is, what we use to help them talk. So Jane has already helped us with doing qualitative research. That's an interview to ask you questions to find out your problem. So that's what research is. And we have two types of research. We have the qualitative and the quantitative. So the qualitative research is more like descriptive research that helps you to know that helps you to know in depth of how people think and how they feel. It helps you to know their opinion, their problem, and all of that. Now, one good thing about qualitative is that it will help you to also observe your users. Because as you're interviewing and your video is on, you'll be able to study the body language and know what this person is saying and what this person is not saying. So what is the purpose of research? There's one saying that if you don't know the purpose of a thing, abuse is something that you can't take away from it. People would even not do it. at this point now is if you don't know the purpose of research, you will not even do it, not to talk of abusing it, because there's no research abuse where we are. So one of the purposes, it will help you to design better products, because you already know what users want, so it will be great. So it's just like someone giving you a gift on your birthday, and you already have a wish. Is it a wish list? Yes, you already have a wish list, and people they are saying what they want you to get. You've already seen what you want, and someone goes to buy exactly what you want on your wish list. That person has done what you want. He has satisfied you in the best way ever. But imagine that there's no wish list and you post on your status and say, buy me anything you want to buy me, and someone buys you pen. You would not actually you won't like that gift, and that's because the person did not ask you before going to buy a pen. There's some people that if you don't ask them before going to buy iPhones for them, you would waste your time. While iPhone is popular, most persons still don't like it. Some persons will prefer Samsung to this. So for you to design better problem that satisfies users' needs in depth, you need to design better. Yeah, user research will help you achieve that. User research will help you achieve that. Another thing it will help you do, it will help you save your time and your money. So once you go on user research and know a particular problem, right? You're not doing guesswork. So you know the issue, you know whether people want it. If people don't want it, you can easily reject it, right? Sorry, I say reject it. If people don't want it, you would end up not doing it. So it has saved you time and energy. It's just like going to help somebody to cook and the person doesn't like it. But with normal research, let's say we're just asking the person, please, should I come and cook for you? And the person said no. You saved your time, and you saved your money, you save all of those things. So that's what it will help you do. If you do conduct research and people say they don't want your product, there's no need them going further to do other things, because you already know the reply that they would give you to eliminate guesswork. It also can be done on a budget. You don't really need big money to do research. You can do research with or without any money. So the only time you might get to involve money in research is depending on the kind of research you're doing. So let's say you're trying to research on the lifestyle of people in the north. You would have to go to Kano, you have to go to the north, or you have to go to Kano, Bauchi, any of these northern states, and you have to stay in their midst to understand how they behave. Now, that kind of research is what we call field study. So those kind of research, right, you will need money, because you think of your transport, your accommodation, your feeding, and all of that, right? But if you're doing quantitative kind of research and you need to stay, what's it called? You need to stay in your environment, you're not going anywhere, then you really don't need money. Another time you need money is if you're giving incentives to people that would reply, that would help you in your research. So when I mean incentive, there are some people that they are conducting research. You see that we are paying 20,000 naira for research, or do this and you get gift card. Mostly international companies, right? They pay you to find faults most times in their products, or they pay you to just answer questions. They might give you gift cards that you can use to shop online. They might give you data stipend for just doing all of those things. So depending on the kind of research you want to do, except that I don't think you need money to do research, because it can be 0% free and maybe small money. Then what are the types of method? Qualitative method. For qualitative method, we have the popular one, the most popular one, interview. That's what almost everybody would always use once you say do a qualitative kind of research, where they get one-on-one conversation with you for you to share your thoughts, your objective, anything you want to share with them. And then we have the guerrilla testing. So for the guerrilla testing, what you're doing is you're getting to test in their environment. So what you're doing is you're mostly observing them, you're taking pictures on the go, you're taking videos. So let's say, for instance, guerrilla testing, you see some of these comedies that you see online that people will come. I saw one this morning, which is complete the relics challenge, where there'll be camera everywhere, and then I'll just maybe sing a song, and they are videoing you to get your observation on spot. So you can be doing on street videos, You can be reviewing different things and then just to observe and get people's issue. And then we have focus groups. For focus groups, I can decide to divide the class into 3% per team, and I want to conduct research. And I say you guys to discuss amongst yourself and tell me I'll gather how this is important or why it's not important, or just tell me discuss different problems. I can link up 3 guys and tell them to talk about the issues of playing bets, and they just start talking, discussing amongst themselves, and you're getting insights. And then we have the field studies where you head to the users' environment to observe them while you're taking notes, pictures, and all of that. So that's the one you have to really travel. Let's say you want to do something around there and you get to travel. And then we have the in-lab testing where you get to test something in a controlled environment. So I want to test I want to test how people react when they open our landing page, for instance. The landing page might be ugly. Let's use ugly for let's use the word ugly. So this landing page is ugly, and I want to test how people would react when they open it for the first time. Is it that they are going to shout? Is it that they are going to, oh, there's one website that let's even do that. There's one website. I'm coming. So just give me time. If I don't see it, then we'll just move on. I just pray I see it, Sha. Okay. So so I want you guys to unmute. If you can unmute, right? Unmute. I just want to test something. I don't know if they've changed it. Yale School of Arts. So this is for sorry, this is for in-lab testing. I just want to observe your actions, your thoughts, and how you feel about the website that I give to you. So let's open this website. They've even improved it on it small. It used to be very bad. It used to be worse than this. So what's your reaction?
Colors.
Wait, let me send how it used to be on before to the chats. So this is how it used to be before. So once you open it, for some people, the first thing that comes to their mind is, my God, what is this? Some people will squeeze their face. So that's what we'll be trying to do.
Looking like a website.
It's not even looking, it's just so scattered. Have you seen the
Scattered off, it's not aligned. Okay, let's just say maybe is what this is not a website.
So chaotic.
So you can see that the thing you get, right? You can see the different. Is this even how your website used to look like? Till date, they've not even tried to improve on it. So you see that the reaction I get from you people is not. So that's what in-lab testing is. You observe users as a completed task or as the way they feel when they come to your website. That's what you do. And then we have card sorting. So for card sorting, right, what you're doing is you're telling your users to help you, to tell you where you want things to be. So I'm giving you people options. I'm giving you a list of things, and I'm saying, how would you want this thing to be? Where would you want this thing to be? And then you help me do it. So let's say I'm giving you classes of food, and I'm saying, I'm giving you different food, and I'm telling you to help me classify the food. I give you guys beans, gari, and I say classify them for me. In school, we did that now. I say rice is to this, rice is to carbohydrate, as beans is to dash. So something like that, I'm telling you to help me classify it. So that's it for qualitative. Then when we talk about quantitative, we're talking about user surveys, where you send questionnaires, where you send out questions to people to fill surveys for you. We also have the first click testing, where you get to set up an environment and observe where users will click first when they are trying to complete a task. Then we have the eye tracking, where you get to observe users' eye movements and come up with valid conclusion. Then we have the heat mapping, where you show how users are clicking a particular website, where they touch most. Then we have the web analytics that would help us to know, okay, this is what my users, this is where I have more users. More users are in Lagos than they are in Cameroon, or more users are in Nigeria than they are in Rwanda. And then we have the A and B testing, where you get to do two versions of your design and give it to your users to help you test it. So basically that's it with user research. Now, what we did in the last class is before yesterday, what we did was we tried to come up with questions after choosing any idea. So now what I want you guys to do, for those joining, I've said it before, choose an idea, then create questions regarding it. Now that you know what's it called, what user research is, ensure that your questions, the questions that you're creating, will help you discover, will help you answer the questions that you have in your mind. Question around what is the real problem, how can I solve it? So those questions, right? That's what you should achieve using your survey questions. So just like Jane already did in class, you can also conduct interview with your users to just find out the why and answer some questions that you might have. So is there any question so far? Is there any question? Okay, so this one that we have silence everywhere. So that means there's no question.
I think I have a question. Sorry.
Okay.
As a user, let's just say experience, this thing, is it before you are being contacted to carry out a survey or to learn how people feel? I'm just giving example. Maybe you are doing a project with a friend. Are you being given certain amounts in order for you to carry out the research, or it is when the job is done, that's when they get that's when you get paid?
Okay, so when someone contacts you for a project, and let's say the project is just research focused or just UX focused, you're not doing design. Is that your question?
Yes.
Okay, so let me tell you, one thing about charging is once you charge, once you get a job, there are ways that you collect. So for me, right, what I do is I have a 60-40 policy. Sometimes it's a 50-50, sometimes it's a 70-30. So for the point of contacting me for a job and we've discussed price, you pay me something. I can't start the work without you paying me, except it's like a long term. Now, let's take for instance, if you're doing a government project, you know how government project used to be. As far as you sign the contract, the before the money gets to you, it will get to different set of people from this to this, and then but be rest assured that you get the project. So if you're working for government, you can decide to start the project. At the end of the day, you collect your money as far as you sign the document. If you're working for individuals, so based on what you send to them, based on your contracts, if you tell them it's 70% and they decide they pay 70%, you start up the work. Once you're done, they pay 30%. So there's no one way of doing this thing right. There's no one method. So any method, anyone that works, and depending on the client, if it's someone that is trusted, you can start on the work. At the end of the day, you collect your money. There's a client that I worked for. It's someone that I trust. Till date, I've not received my money, and there's no conversation around my money. And that's because I had to use emotions to say, this is someone I know. let's continue with it. Anytime he calls me to talk about it, he will keep telling me how Nigeria is bad, how this, how that. And normally it was not supposed to be so if I had collected my money. So always have your plan B, or always have how to protect yourself from all of those things. Now, the truth is, it's because it's someone I know, I'm taking it calmly. But if it gets to the point when I don't want to be calm any longer, I have backings, I can use legal way to retrieve my money. So you can decide to collect when you get to the job, in the middle of the job, after the job, based on your agreement or based on what you want. I know some people that like that you don't pay them till they are done with the job. And that's because they don't want to finish the money before finishing the job. Because there's one thing about collecting a job and you are not done with the job, or you have spent the money. You will not have motivation. So depending and ensure that you have something to back it.
All right. Okay. Like an evidence.
Yeah, so like a contract or any of that. Okay, so is there any other question?
That's all. That's all.
Oh, okay. So any question from anybody? Anybody? Senator, contact these people and use them, make cool cash. Which people are you contacting? All right, so if there's no question, right? This is 10:56. We'll be going for our break by 11 o'clock. I'll come back by 11:30. So when we come back by 11:30, we'll just do what's it called? Is there any need to do user persona again? We'll just do user persona, right? Walk us through the tool again. I'll still use the same thing I did yesterday. So I'll just copy the text and paste it. So it's just to walk us through the tools again, and I would now enter empathy map for today, and we're done for the week. So if you have any question, we have the next 3 minutes to actually answer those questions. All right, guys. If there's no question, right, we can go for a break and come back. So let me stop recording, and we'll meet back by 11:30. So we'll just get back to Figma. So for us to go back, right, just back to files, and we'll just continue from where we stopped yesterday. So this is the best way, right, to learn how to do anything on Figma. So what I try to do, or when I started out, what I tried to do is so this is what I try to do. First off, I look at what I want to get. So say I want to do a user persona. Remember that I already have my content and all of that. And I get to check the particular type or what I want to use for my user persona. So let's say I have this, let me select something complex than what we did yesterday, something a bit complex. When I see what I'm looking for, I'll know. Okay, so let me take this one up here. I want to use this one, so I copy image. And guys, are we in class? Please let me be sure. Because some person did not log out and they are still here. So let me be sure that we are here.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we
okay.
are.
Yes, we are. Okay, so the best way to learn or how to learn faster is why you get anything you want to replicate. So even if it's not user persona, so let me say, for instance, I want to do onboarding screen. We'll get there, or I just want to show something. I want to get an onboarding screen, for instance. Let's use this as, for instance, copy it, and I come back to Figma and I paste it. So first off, what I look at is the elements that is being used here. So for this, if we go with this, what are the elements that I used here? I'll first of all put it down, illustrations. We use illustrations here. Let me increase this. So we already talked about how to illustrations. We use illustrations here. What again can you see? There are different types of text. The next text is, there is what we call the header text, or for now that we don't know the difference between header and all of that, I would say bigger text. Bigger text. What do we have again? So it's just like trying to break down everything that is here. We have smaller text. I need to add it here at the ending. What again can you see here? We have 3 dots. So I'll just write it just the way I see it. 3 dots. 3 dots. And what do we have? We have a skip text on this. Skip. And then we have a button. A button. These are like everything we have on this design. So what again is here? We have arrow, like an arrow icon. So I'll say arrow icon. Now we have all of this. And what again do we have here? Which is like the first thing. Well, what is it? Who can guess?
The pictures.
So I've already listed the pictures here as illustration. The first thing that we have here.
The
The
go
color.
back button.
The what?
Colors.
No, not color. Let's assume that we are not making use of colors.
Sections.
What's the first thing you do when you want to design?
The frame.
Exactly, the frame. So these are what we have on this. So for me to replicate this, right? So that's one thing you first of all need to note, the things that are here. So for the button, if I want to still, let's say I want to further break down the button, what do you think I have in the button? This is a rectangle, right? Rectangle plus text. So if you're able to break down these things to know what comprises of this one screen, it will be easy to know where each of the elements is. So for you to learn Figma, well, that's how you should, the first way to start. So I want to jump to get to this state to see how, since we've recognized these are the 4 things, how do we do it? And then we'll now move back to this user persona. So the first one is we need to get a frame. What kind of frame did they use here? So we'll just be doing this
The
first one.
desktop.
No, this is the frame that they use. This is like a cover, and this is not important for now.
The mobile frame.
iPhone.
Yes, iPhone, mobile frame. So where do I get a frame? I need to come to this tool and I'll select frame. And then the next thing I come to phone, and then what will I select? A phone that I want to use, maybe iPhone 14 or 13. You must not get it. Now we've gotten the first one. Now, can you notice one thing about the frame? It is rounded. So how do we make this frame rounded? I told us yesterday that we have border radius, corner radius. It's called corner radius. Look at it. So once you bring your mouse, you'd see it. So if I want to make my frame rounded, it's 0. So I'll just make it 30 or any number you give it. Can you see that we've made it rounded? But it's not even as round as this. So let's say 50. Have we gotten first step? Yes, we've gotten. So this is good to go. Let me just use. So let me use tick. Let me use emoji. So we've gotten this first one. Now the next thing is I need to get another thing here. What's the first thing? Arrow. So yesterday I told us about using plugins, right? You use plugins, color plugins, you use any kind of plugins. So say I want to get this arrow that is here because that's the next thing on this. I can right click and go to plugins, and then I'll just search for a particular plugin. Maybe I'll come here and search for icons. And then I have material design icon or any icon you can think of. So what's the next thing I will do? What kind of arrow is this? Back arrow. So I'll just say arrow, and I can just decide to check which one, drop down. This is field, I want outline. So I'll just say outline. Can you see that I can see one, but it's not looking the way I want it to be. So let me look for, but I can still use that one and change it. So let's say I use this one. It's inside of my design. So once you click on it, it will be inside. Look at it here. So what I can do now is I can right click to ungroup this because I just want this, and I'll bring it out. And then how is it looking? It's small and it's not, it's facing the other way. So what can I do with this? I can do rotation. Is it 90? No, not 90. If I try 90, it doesn't work. Let me see 180. So 180 works. So that's it. I'll just bring it here and I'll push it. Remember to always use your ruler if you want. So now I already have the first thing. Next one is illustration. Where do you get illustration? So I can now put this, it is done. So let me copy this and put this and say I've successfully put my arrow. So now I need illustration. If I come online and I say illustration, maybe on Google or any platform. So let's use Google for now. I say illustration. So for now, I'll use any illustration I see on Google. I'm not going to use the exact one that they are using. I don't think I can get the exact one. So let's say I come to this one and I copy this one. Okay. So let me see, this is the one I'm picking. I'm picking this one. Let's not try to do anything with color. Let me just keep it black and white. And then I download SVG. So when you want to download SVG is means that I can change the color anywhere. So let's say I come to, how do I get the picture that I've downloaded? I'll just come to, how do you place picture? We talked about it. You come to place image. And once you place the image, it will open your design. So once it opens, sorry, it will open your computer. So once you open it, you would see place all, and you see this card. Then you'd see this thing moving like this. So just click on it, place it where you want to place it, and that's it. So let's say we've brought in our I'll hold down shift. If you want to have equal sizing, hold down shifts and just reduce it and then bring it in. Have you seen, can you see that we've gotten this? And what am I going to do? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this is done. Illustration is done. So what's the next thing for us to get a text? The next thing is text, which they wrote here, personal desk space. So because I already, for text, you come to your T and you type personal text space. Guys, are we following? Am I too fast?
No, you're going on point.
Okay. Personal desk space. Let's say because it's bigger text, right? Make this sexy. So when we get to learning about sizes, you know, for this, 30 is big. If I try to display it, let me just use 24. You see why. And one thing about this text is it's not like the normal text. It is bold, right? So I can now make it bold. I can make it bold and say medium or bold, anyone. I put it there. Have we gotten that one? So personal desk space is good to go. So let me tick it out. Bigger text, sorry, is good to go. So let me take it out. Now I need smaller text. So I'll just copy this one that I have here, Control C, and I'll come here and I'll paste it to just write, we don't believe, we don't believe, we don't believe in cubicles. And this one is small, so we'll reduce it. The sizes cannot be the same. This is 24 and this is 20. We have our smaller text also. Now, the next thing is we need to do the 3 dots. So looking at these 3 dots, what can you see? You can see circle, circle, and then something that is not looking like circle. So how do I create it? I'll come here to rectangles. So I'll come here and I'll pick circle and I'll draw the first one. I already have it. Then what should I do? I'll duplicate the second one, Ctrl D, and bring it outside there. So you can see there is remaining one, which is the last one. The last one is not looking like circle. It's more distance. So I'll make a rectangle. Now, one thing I will do is I'll look at the circle. See it here. I'll look at the circle. What's the size of the circle? The circle is 10. So I'll make the height of my rectangle to be 10 too, so that they will be equal. And then I'll make this rounded. So I can just make it like 30. And let's see if it's looking the same way as this. Yes, it is, but it's wide, a bit wide. So let me reduce it a bit. So you can see that we've done the 3 of it. So all I need to do now is to ensure that they are aligned together. Remember, you come to your alignment tab and then distribute vertical spacing. So once you're done, you group it, Ctrl G, and you bring it inside the frame. And I think now we can start thinking of color. So for now, let's just be using, we are using black and white. So I'm using this color that we have here. So I'm not doing anything different. You can see that I'm dropping them, but I'm not arranging them. And what is the last thing? The button, the other text, which is, we've done the 3 dots. So I'll just Ctrl V. Now we have the skip text. So let me just pick this one as my skip text. So let me Ctrl D it, then come here and just reduce the size. So say 15 or 16. 16. And then I'll remove this text and just leave it like this. So we have the skip. And then what's the last thing? The button. You see that the button is small. So what can we use? We have rectangle and text. So I'll put the rectangle here, and then I'll put my text. Let's say this text, I'll come to D again, and I'll bring it down here. You can see that it's not on top. So I'll just right click and I'll say bring to front. And now it is on top. Then I'll make this one to be rounded. So let's say I'll use 20. And Then I'll align these two, that's by bringing it to the center or hold the two together and go to the back, go to together, and then I'll just group it. Remember that for now, we are not even thinking of, is this too much? Let me see. I think this is 74 is too much, so let's make it 60. And reduce it a bit. So let me arrange this now. You saw that I grouped it. So let's say this is it. This is it. This should be in the center. So I would make this align well, and so after aligning, let me group it and keep it at the center. So I'll just keep everything at the center. I'll just be centralizing everything to ensure that it is staying where centralized. And this one should come down a bit. These three should come down a bit. And then this one comes a bit. So this text is 24. Let me make it 20 and change it to get started. See, we are copying what we have here. That's what we are doing. We are just copying how we have here. So the reason why we are having issue with the tools or how to do this is because we've not broken down each of them. Jokingly, we have replicated what we have here. So everything is checked. Everything checked. And this is what gives us a frame. Let's see, we can move it. If we view it, now we can see that we have 3 of these. It's just to now duplicate. This is the last one. We did not do the first one. But because we've gotten one, I can just duplicate it and get the last one. The difference between this one and this one is that this one is text and this one is icon. So you just remove the text and put the icon and make it smaller. That's it. But you've done the 3. And now, how do I now represent it just the way they represented it? I'll just pick up another frame. I'll just pick up a frame and then just drag it. I don't need to choose a desktop frame or anything. And then once I'm done, I'll highlight these 3 together and I'll bring it inside. And this is it. So let me put it at the center. Let me put it here. And close this a bit. Okay. Now we have this. Maybe I just want to tip their color too. I'll just click on this and click on my eyedropper and get their color. This is it. It did not take us. How many minutes did it take us? It did not take us longer time, but we have been able to replicate the exact thing that they have here by just knowing each of the elements that was used. So that's how you learn how to use Figma faster, or that's how you learn how to design. Once you look at any design, for now you need to start by replicating. Once you look at any design, be able to break down what they have. Now, using user persona, let's go back to user persona, right? We are done with this thing. We're done with this, so I can delete both of them. I can delete everything.
Please, I have a question.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, my network didn't allow me to join earlier. Please, how do you get the illustration, please?
How did I get the
The
illustration?
illustration. Yes,
I went to
the
Google and
image
I
part.
downloaded it. I went to Google and I downloaded
Okay, and
it.
just paste it.
Yes.
Okay, and just pasted it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So anything you see that you want to get, you can go to Google and download it. All right. So basically, right, that's how you learn how to use Figma to design. If you look at, okay, so let me open another one. Let me open something, let's say homepage.
I have a question, ma.
Okay, go on.
Do we have to download the images as SVG?
So the reason why it's nice to download image as SVG. Now, so let's look at this image. You can see that what is here is a different color. But if I want to change the color, I can still change the color to get the quick color of what is here. I can still change this one to take everybody's clothes, the same kind of clothes. So let's say the clothes I want to use this. So can you see that I've converted this image, this black and white, to this exact type? So the purpose of SVG is SVG helps you to, with SVG, you can be able to customize the color even on Figma. Unlike PNG, once you have PNG, you can't do anything. Like you won't be able to customize.
Okay, ma, is there a way to download it as SVG or PNG or whatever?
So there are platforms. So for the illustration, you can see the option. Like me now, I saw the option to download as either PNG or SVG, and I chose SVG. So when we get to design, you know that the reason why I'm not teaching this in depth is because we've not gotten to design. When we get to design, I'll show you where to download illustrations, where to get pictures, how to get icons. Some of these websites I'll show you guys. I'll send it to you so that you can be downloading all of those things. But what I just wanted you to understand in today's class is no design is hard. Nothing is hard. You just need to figure out the elements that was used, bring them out, and try to bring in those particular elements yourself. So you see that I've converted this, what we had, black and white, to the exact thing we downloaded.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have another question, ma.
Okay.
Ma, how did you duplicate the frames and the text?
Ctrl D.
Okay, ma.
All right. So is there another question?
No, ma.
Okay, sorry, I have a question.
Okay.
These images, that's the illustration. Can't we run it as plugins?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can do it. All right, so that's basically how to be able to do that. So let's just do what home page, mobile. I just want us to, okay, looking at this home page, right? Let me open this. Looking at this home page, what can you see here? Or if you want to replicate this, what are the elements that you would have here? Just group them, for instance. I'm waiting.
We have icons.
Okay.
Rectangle.
We have text. Yeah, we have rectangles. Yeah. Basically, those are the elements we have here. So this can be called some person can say ATM card. It's still the same thing. It's ATM card. But how do you do the ATM card? It's still rectangle, text, icon, and then some maybe images or some shapes. Like this is rectangle, this is text, this is icon. So once you're able to know what is on each element, you are good to go. I just let's look for another one that is somehow different, that has. So for this, we know what is there. We have icon, we have pictures, and we have text. So basically, these are like for every design to always comprise of icons, text, pictures. Before you can now start thinking of what's it called? Shapes and colors. Same thing. These are text, text, text. So it's just going to be very easy. Now let's go back to user persona, right? So what is user persona? User persona, like I said, is a fictional data of your target audience. And how do you come about your user persona? From yesterday or from when we started the class, we've been singing about research, how research is very important. Now, the core things to include in any user persona, you see the bio. So bio is, you can say the demography that contains the bio, the age, anything you want to put. But these things are always constant. Frustrations and what's it called? And goals, just like you have it here, frustrations and goals. So if you're able to discover, okay, using our this thing that we've been talking about, using medicine, getting medicine, what are the frustrations from what we've seen so far? The frustrations are not hard. People cannot get access medicine faster. It's very expensive. All of these are frustrations. And then if you want to put goal, they need to get medicine cheaper, they need to get it faster, and they need to get it when they want. So that's just it. From your research, you should be able to get it. And the next thing is now to design a flow for it. I've showed us where all the shapes are. So when you look at anything you want to represent, try to say, okay, what are the things? For this, we have a frame. What kind of frame do we have? We have a web frame. So you get to choose a web frame. And then we have rectangles in boxes and text in it. For where we have brands, these are pictures that you can download online and just place. For payment platform, you can see check and their illustrations. You can also download it. And personality, you can see how this person did the personality, introvert, tracker, thinker, all of these. And then there's a quote and picture. That's what comprises of user persona. As far as you know the frustrations and the goals, every other thing you want to put is left for you. The frustrations, the goals, this important thing, then the bio, the demography. This you can leave it out or you can still put it. This is very simple, but it is telling us. So your frustration and goal can even be 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. You must not have exact points with other people. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Please come again.
I said you might have 1 point, you can have 2 points, you can have 3 points. You must not have exact thing. So this person has 3. If you check mine, this one has 3, this one has 5. So it's based on what you know about the research that you've conducted that you can tell that, okay, this is what I am doing. If I want to do this screen, I'm not going to write, I'll just pick up, I'm not going to write, but I'll just divide it. So this particular one, I'll pick up a frame. So I can decide to pick up, what's it called? A tablet frame, for instance. I'll use 144 by this. I've picked it up. The next thing is, let me use the exact color that they have here. Let me select the color, use my eyedropper and select the color. So let's say I've used the color. Now, how many things do they have? They have rectangles. So first off, I'll pick my rectangle and I'll draw. So I just need to get one. When I get one, I'll complete the others. Now, this is my rectangle. This is a bit long, so let me drag it out till it gets long. This is my rectangle. What kind of rectangle did they use? The rectangle color is white. Is it a very sharp rectangle? No. There is a bit of corner radius. So let me add the corner radius to be 10. And then, sorry, and then what I will do is, I already have the what I want to use, the rectangle. The next thing is to divide it, because all of these things you can put it yourself. Divide the rectangle. This is this one. They have another one, and this one is a bit smaller than this, so I'll just reduce this one a bit. I have the first side. The second side, I'll just duplicate Ctrl D, because I already have it. There's no need doing it again from the starting. And then I'll just drag this here. And you see, the second one is bigger, a bit bigger. So I'll just increase the size. The third one, duplicate, and I'll bring it down. And then we have one last one, which is a bit small, like this. And then for the last one, we have 2 of it. So I'll just duplicate this one and make it 2. So this space is not going to reach, so I'll just bring this a bit. So for this, I would divide it into 2. This is the first one, and then this is the second one. But I would be increasing the size till it reaches 421. So this is 421. Let's see. Okay. 430. Yeah.
How did you divide the triangles and the rectangles?
How did I divide it? So
Yes,
this is what I did. I just picked one long rectangle and reduced the size. So after reducing the size, just duplicate Ctrl D and bring out the next one. That's it. I did not do any dividing.
All right, ma'am.
Oh, so let's say I'm using 430. The next one too will be 430. And that's it. I have it already. And what is now left to do here after having this one? Is it not just to place your text that you already have? To place your text and your image. So I want to place image. You already know how to place image. You if you pick up a shape, for instance, that you want to use, is either you come to color and do image and then pick in the image from your laptop, or you do place image. Any of it. I already have my image. Now the next is to get my text and fill it in. And that's it. I've done my user persona. Is there any question on how to now use Figma tools?
I have a question, ma.
Okay.
Okay, so is it better to create your persona like this or just copy a template and edit the template? Like, which is preferable?
So now the truth is, if everybody decides to use templates, nobody will be creative. So for beginners, right? If you're starting out product design for the first time, it's advisable that you learn to duplicate or you learn to create them by yourself. Because you can be in an interview and they say create, do it live, and you don't have a template. What will you do? To learn everything, learn how to create it yourself before you start any other thing.
Okay, thank you, ma.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is it possible, like now you have like 3 designs here now on the
Okay.
frame. So now if I want to save, like I have done like 3 designs together like this, like copying and pasting the text and doing all of these designs. Do I have to delete one to export the other, or how can I do it? Since you can
No,
work
you don't need
more
to.
than one.
You don't need to delete any one. You just need to click on the one you want to export and come to export here. And you'd see it and you can export it.
Okay.
Then if you want to export this one too, you click on this one and export.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to export all at the same time, highlight all of them and click on export. And it's going to export
Okay,
all.
thank you.
So is there another question?
Okay, my question is
just
this.
an observation. Oh,
Okay.
sorry, I'm so sorry for interrupting. When you made all these boxes, all the boxes in the one we're working on, you sort of highlighted everything. Was there a reason for that?
Which one?
Yeah, where the cost, yes. When you were after making all these boxes, you highlight.
Yes. So I needed to move all together. You get? Can you hear me? Hello? Please, can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes,
So
we can. We can
the
hear
reason
you.
why I highlighted everything is because I wanted to move all at once. And I did not want to So to move all at once, I needed to highlight everything to move them at once. If I want to move just these 3, I would highlight just the 3 to move it. You get? If I want to move just this section, I would highlight just this section. So depending on what you want to do. So have I answered that question?
Okay, I have a question, Oma. Just that she
Okay.
put in and then it's as if I forgot my question. But then I wanted to ask if you talked about creating, oh God, you talked
Sure.
about creating something. Do you get? So,
Yes.
but in creating something, who is this? Oma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so in creating, you can also look at somebody's work and then pull something out of it, right?
Yes.
Or it originally had to come from your head.
So one of the laws I talked about is people know how other sites behave, so they expect yours to behave the same way. The truth is, even as I am till date, I get inspirations from other people's work. As a graphic designer, that's one thing they will tell you, that you get inspiration. You see a graphic designer wants to do Monday motivation. You go on Instagram, look at different different platforms, different companies, see how they've done their Monday motivation, and then he will come and do his own. So that's what we do. Sometimes if I want to design one home screen, I can have 10 different home screens that I'll pick the head. I can decide to pick what's it called? I can decide to pick the ATM card. The way they did the ATM card, I loved it. I pick the ATM card from there and I replicate it, do it myself. And I look at 10 different designs and then I come up with my own. Now, where you would be wrong is if you look at something and copy it word to word, back to back. Copy their colors, the fonts, and all of those things. But stealing is allowed in our job. Copying is allowed, but copy with sense. When I mean copy with sense, don't go and duplicate somebody's hard work and say it's yours. No. You get inspiration from them and craft yours. So it's just like, I want to build, I like this person's house, 2-bedroom. I call somebody to do the same pattern for me and maybe just tweak it or change it. Because there's no new design. There's nothing new. Everything is just how you have your inspiration or how creative you become. So at the end of the day, what we are trying to tell you is just be creative. Don't go and copy somebody's work back to back. Get inspirations from different places. Because even the template is somebody's inspiration. Okay, so is there another question so that we'll move? Uh, Okay, guys, I'm waiting for any question that would come up before we move to empathy map. So I want to be sure that for those of us just joining, I want to be sure that you now understand everything we've done so far. Please, I would want people that just joined to talk now.
Hello, ma. Please, can you go back to the work you did yesterday, the other sample? I wanted to ask Yeah, I want to ask a question on there. Okay, for the personality, how did you come about this little shape and stuff? The color.
So, all right, so this is how I did it. This is a rectangle, so I'll pick up a rectangle first and I'll draw it. Now recall that this rectangle is rounded, so maybe I'll make it 20 for it to be rounded. Now all I need to do is to duplicate this, Ctrl D, and I'll bring it down here. So the first one is the one that will be inside, and the second one will be on top. So the second one will be what we'll use as our counter. So let's say the first one, I want to use a color, a shadow color of the second one. Let's say this is a color that I want to use, for instance, but I want it to be the lighter version of this color. So I'll change it from 100% to 10. Now I've gotten it. Now for the second one, I would give it the exact color that I want to give it, that maybe this one. So once I'm done, I'll just reduce the second one, reduce it to where I want it to be, and I'll place this on it. And that's it. So if I want to increase this, I'll keep increasing it, but you can see that it's on it. And then you can group it. So once you group it, it's now 1. So once you get 1, what I do is I like duplicating a lot. Once I get 1, there's no need creating them from afresh. So what I need to do is just change each of the colors to fit in what I want to do, and that's it.
Ma, how did you duplicate? How did you group it?
Ctrl G.
Okay, ma'am.
Always group with Ctrl G. So basically, that's it. For any time you want to group, you make use of Control and G, or better still, you just right click and you see group. Once you right click on it, so if you highlight it, that's hold the two together, and you right click, you would see group. So you just click on group and that's it. Okay, so any question? I want us to be sure, I want us to be done with anything from the previous class, so that once we move now, I know that everybody's on the same pace.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I want to still ask about the ruler. How does the ruler affect the design?
Okay, so when we get to UI, right, you would notice that interestingly, we need your work needs to be aligned. So for all of this, the reason why this is presentable, let me duplicate this, right? The reason why this is presentable is because it is arranged. So let's just imagine this is here, this is here. You can see that it's not arranged, it's not aligned. This is somewhere here, this is here. Can you see that I've scattered the work? It's not looking presentable. So one thing that the ruler will help you do is it will help you to align your work. That's one work of the ruler. So let's say, for instance, I ungroup or I undo all of these things. Now looking at this with my ruler, you would notice that the goals and this, they are all aligned. But from what you can see is this is not aligned. Let's say this is where I'm keeping my ruler. This image is not aligned with this and this. So I'll just have to now drag it to ensure that they are all aligned to each other. This is not aligned because you can see, okay, can you see that now it's aligned? It's aligned. So if I look at this, I'm seeing straight line. So ruler helps in aligning your work. I have, for instance, I have a phone frame. I have a phone frame that I want to know the space between them, and I put my ruler and I say this is the first one, and I use this as the second one. So that means if I'm designing anything I'm designing, I'll design in this space and this space would be left. So even in graphic design, you see them. No, then when we in Microsoft Word, when you type and you want to print, they have margins, so you can use your rulers to do all of those things. It will help you align your work and make your work straight, and you know where to keep anything you want to keep. So I can decide to say, okay, this is where I'm going to put my icons for my app beneath. And this is where I'll put my text. So you can see that I've divided my screen using the ruler just for alignment. Answer that. Hello?
Yes, yes, you've answered that, Ma. Thank you, Ma.
All right. Any other question? All right, if there's no question, let's just go straight to empathy map. What we are supposed to do for today. We might not finish it, depending, but okay, so what now is empathy map? We've talked about user persona, and we said that a user persona is the fictional representation of your target audience. So what is now empathy map? Empathy map is also a tool that we use to understand our user. Not that we are just using it to understand our user, but we are using it to also communicate our findings to our colleague, So empathy map is just that tool that you use to learn a lot about your user through what they say, what they do, as well as their body language, what they say. So what does an empathy map look like? What we are trying to do with empathy map is we have 4 quadrants of our users. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find out what the user would say using our product. Everything you're doing is based on your product. What the user would feel, what the user would think, and what the user would do. So these are like the 4 quadrants. Your user would always be in the center, and then you think about what the user would say, do, and all of that. So for the says, what it does, it's just quote the user from what you've gathered from your research. Something like, I want, I need, I'm not sure. I don't like when this is delaying. I don't like when this is happening to this, or when another thing is doing this. So something like that. Then when what the user would think, it is more focused on what you think that your user will be thinking at what you think that they are thinking actually. That's the word. So it might be like just the way I showed us that website. What are you thinking? This is not fine. This is not right. I can't get this. So those feelings or those hidden things that you feel like your users are going to actually say, actually think without saying it loud. That's what we are using that section. Then the next section is what your users would feel, what is worrying them. Are they overwhelmed? Are they anxious? And then what they do. Something like when they need to download something, what would they do? They'll look for the download button. So this is what your empathy map contains. So where do you now do your empathy map? Where do you bring it? It's in the empathizing phase. So all the things we've been doing since, so yeah, we've defined our problem, but we're still in the empathizing phase. That's where we are doing our empathy map, user persona, and all of that. So basically that's it for empathy map. There's nothing too complex about it. So remember, how would you always know empathy map? This is how it looks like. This is one. This is a sample. This is different way. This is another way you can do your empathy map. Another way you can do it is just to list it. For some people, they go as far as putting the pains and the gains. That's the frustrations and the goals still on empathy map, but we really don't need it. I think yesterday we were using one platform as our guide to see all of the things we need to design. So looking at this design, where are we? We are here. empathy map. You can see how we did the zone. Says, think, does, fuel, and then your user. So basically that's what we are going to do. So first off, we go to Figma and then we get our frame. So because I don't want to waste time, I'll just use this, or let's start it from the starting. I'll get to pick up my frame, my desktop frame again, because it's desktop we want to do. So after picking up my desktop frame, next thing I'll do is to I'll finish picking it up. I need to divide my screen. So I'll pick a line on that shape. Remember, all shapes are there. I pick a line and I'll divide my screen. So what I'll do is I'll keep this and I'll ensure that it's at the center of my frame. Okay, it's not inside my frame. You can see that it's not inside my frame. So I'll just drag it in my frame and I'll just drag it and put it in my frame. Wait, it's still not in my frame. So let me cut it, X. This is my frame. So let me place it in my frame. So you can see it now. So I'll just align it to the center and ensure that it is centralized. So I can give this a 2 pixel so that it will show well, or I can give it a 3 pixel or 4, depending on how thick you want it to be. So let's say 4, I want it to be thick, or 5. So I have this. Next up, I'll duplicate this. How do you duplicate? Control D. I'm going to duplicate this, Control D. So after duplicating it, I'll just change the rotation to, I think, 180. Yeah, 180. And I've actually done what I need to do by dividing my screen. And then I'll just put this to the center. So what will be here? And the next thing is your, what's it called? Your user will be at the center of all of this. This is it. So what are the key things we need? Says, think, does, and feel. Remember them, right? So I'll just take this as what my user would say. And the next one will be think. What my users think. What again do we have?
Feel.
Yeah, we have feel. And what's the last one? So I'm trying to, yeah, does or do anymore. So I'll duplicate this and I'll bring it here and
It does.
yeah. So for this, I think I'll just put it here. No, I'm trying to get the exact direction. So this is does. Let's see. Let's see if, so I want to align this, right? I want to align this to the end of this. So I'll move this to the end of this too. So this is just me trying to align this work well. So I'll hold these two together and align it. And then I'll hold these two together and align it. Then I would, I think, hold these two together and align it. That's basically it. These two, they are aligned, so they don't need to, let me see if these two are aligned. Yeah, they are. So this is it. Remember to always bring in my image. So I'll go here, change it, bring in my image. So first off, before I continue, I want us to get to this part. Everybody do to this part, divide your screen like this and let's start. This is empathy map. So another thing I'll do now is I'll need to group this together. That's just my lines. Okay, I'll group the lines together. So So due to this point, and let me know if you're having any difficulty. Is there any question on the chat that needs my attention? Can you send the attendance? Okay, your attendance is there. So guys, you can fill in your attendance too.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Where is the attendant?
It's on the chat.
All right.
Hi, Boma, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so the attendance form is saying I already filled. I think it's a mistake because I've not filled for today.
Okay. So let me confirm.
My own also said I've already filled the form.
Okay, to be sorted out soon. Okay, just a minute.
Hello, ma, please. I have a question while we are waiting for others. Okay, yeah. So basically, I didn't attend the introductory class, so I don't know if maybe you could explain this alignment properties, the ones you used in aligning them to the center and all.
Okay, so anytime you pick up something, so let's say I want to align, let me highlight these two, for instance, holding down shift, this alignment property would come up. So this is to align to the left, this is aligned to the center, this is right, this is top, this is middle, and this is bottom. And then if you go to this drop down, you see tidy up. So tidy up will give spaces between all of them. It will see distribute vertical spaces or so. So let's say I have two rectangles, for instance. So let me use circle that rectangles. I have this and I duplicate it, and I have this and I duplicate. I want these three to be on the same spot. I want them to be same position. I'll just highlight all, and I would use this align to the vertical center, and all of them will be together. Now, if I want them to have equal spaces between them, I'll come here and I'll do distribute vertical spaces, and it's going to give me. If I want all of them to go to the center, I'll just align to the center, and everything will take inside, will go inside. So that's how you use each of the alignments too.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So while we're waiting for others to get to this point.
Yeah, I'm not on my laptop, please. I'm following on mobile.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done with mine.
Okay. Any other person? So let's say I want to try to impute all of this. I don't want to do something complex. I want to do something simple. So I'm doing something simple for what is says for our medical app or the medicine app. So what do you think my users can say? You can say something like, I can't find the medicine I need. I can't find the medicine I need. So let me reduce the size to 24 and then make it a regular text. And probably I'll just because I want to make it I'll just do enter, and then it would say, is the medicine safe? Is the medicine safe? You know, these are the things that my users can say. I can't afford my prescription, my medicine. So let me make this a bullet point. So that's why I did not differentiate it, because I wanted to make it a bullet point, and then I would change this to like 34, the space between like 34. So I've successfully done this. I can have more. Let's see from what this guy has more. So what again do you think my user can say? The delivery service is whack. What again do you think my users can say?
I have a question, ma.
Okay, yeah, go on.
How did you add the bullets?
Okay, so let me take it off again. To add bullets to your design, you need to, so if you have it like this, you need to come to this text property where you have these three dots, click on it, and then you'll see bullets. You can see bullets, you can see alphabet, so you just choose bullets and that's it. So that's
I also
it.
have a question, ma.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask, this empathy map, is it about what we think our users will say or what they actually say, what they actually feel? Is it what we think they will say?
So remember that you've done research, and your research, first of all, should be able to answer some of these your questions. So from the research, let's say you tell your users to freestyle, and they say something like the delivery people, let's say for instance, during your research, you ask how often do you use delivery service, and you have plenty of people saying every day. If you want to do what they say, you can put it that I order for food every day. Are we together?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to make this more interesting, right? Let me group this, Control G. I want to make it more interesting. It's looking like it's not interesting in my eye. I'll bring this to front. I want to make it more interesting. So I'll make this to be 10. And then I would bring this in. I'll bring this in. So I'll reduce this a bit, a bit, a bit. Okay. So let's say this, and I want to use a different color. I want to use this color. And so that's for C. So I'll delete this and bring this in for think. So I'll duplicate it and I'll bring this in for think. So I'll say this is think. So what do you think my users will think? And then I'll change the color also to maybe what we used yesterday. What do you think my users can think? Guys, we are doing this together. People should not leave me alone. Why is this medication hard to find? They can think it.
Okay, for the thinking phase, I would say maybe it is expensive.
I hope this medicine is not fake.
Yeah, can we also add something like, is there a cheaper alternative?
Oh,
Yes.
I hope it's affordable.
Yes. I hope it's affordable. That's still cheaper, right? We can also say, I wish getting this medicine would be easier. So this is where I hope getting this medicine was easier. All right, so I want to try to make it enter this. Getting this, let me not use medicine again because I'm trying to use the same space. So this is, we can do this. And now let me delete this because I've gotten another method. Control D, and I'll bring this here. And then let's use another color for these. So what am I supposed to put there?
Feel.
Yeah. What do you think they'll feel? They'll feel frustrated. frustrated due to price, especially if it's something you need every time. Just the way asthmatic patients are now because of the cost of their inhaler. Anxiety, they would also feel overwhelmed. Overwhelmed by the process. Then another, what do you think they can also feel? Fear. Fear of fake products. Okay, so the last one, let me just do this, Control D again, and bring it to. So the last one is what?
Does.
Does. What do you think they will do? What do you think they will do? Search multiple places. Places for drugs. What again can they do? Save money. Tries to save. What again do you think they can do? Follow complex way. Complex process. They can go to the hospital. So you see that we've successfully, let me change this color to another one. We've successfully done our empathy map, and okay, so I can also decide to change the color if I wish, but I don't think there's any need to do that. So I'm basically done with my empathy map, and this is it. You can see what I converted to this. So you can, if you go on Google, you can say empathy map, just see different type. Just choose what works for you, what is fine, and what you can replicate. You can still use the sticky notes. So for you to do the sticky notes, all you need to do is you need to go to let me see if there's a plugin called sticky notes. So plugin, let me go to manage plugin and say sticky notes. Yeah, there is. So you can just use the plugin and bring in sticky notes. So I'll just add my sticky notes to it. You can see it. I've added sticky notes, and I can just use the sizes and just place it. So instead of doing this one, oh, that's true. I need to change it. So I just Control D. So instead of using this format, I can just decide to delete all of these and just have my say here, and I'll just use different sticky notes to just put all of it. You can see it. Any method, anyhow you do it, it's still safe as far as you're getting the whole process. So is there any question before we call it a day?
Please, must you divide it? Must you divide it with lines?
So you must not divide it with lines, any way that works for you. So you see this one that we are looking at. Let me drag this up a bit. I've gone to highlight of my image, so you can see that it's giving me issue. So let me just.
Hello, Boma.
Yeah.
Sorry, please.
Okay. Ask your question.
Please add the sticky notes again. My network.
You just
I said, please add the sticky notes
go to
again.
plugins.
My network skipped.
Go to plugins. Go to manage plugin. Then type sticky notes. So once you type sticky notes, you would see them, and then you just click on it and add. You see add, and then you can change the color of your sticky notes.
Thank you.
So look at this guy. He did not divide his screen. You don't need to divide it with what's it called, lines. So because of this that I did, I can remove these lines. I don't really need these lines for this particular one. I can just keep it like this. Anybody that sees it understands that it is empathy map and my user is at the center. So I really don't need to do all of those lines. You just need to make it fine. So that's it. Is there any question?
I have a question for you. Or
Okay.
you talk about empathy map. So you just said about you said something about
I can't hear you.
so can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So you talk about empathy maps. When you're making this frame, talking about downloading your instructions.
Oh,
So on
it looks
like
like
you
you're removing your mic because
can you it's better now?
yeah, it's better.
You said something about downloading instructions. I don't know
Downloading a picture.
it's the illustrations you use for those frames.
Yeah.
Put them from Google.
Yes.
You get all your illustrations from.
Where do I get my illustrations from?
No, like you have to get all your illustrations from Google.
No, that's what I'm saying. I had to do that example because I wanted to show that. But once we get to UI, I will send you different links that you can download illustrations. It's not just Google only. There's SVG. There are different places, right? I'll just send you the link so that you know where you can get. You can get on Shutterstock. You can get on Free Pick. You can get on illustration ops. There are different links, different places, right? When we get to UI itself, I'm going to show us all of those. Where to get colors, text, all those platforms. So is there any other question? Have we successfully filled the attendance? Guys?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Yeah, good. We are successful with this.
Okay, so I can stop recording. So it's time to, you just need to ask your question because we are done with today's